Liverpool. Well, we've completed certainly this part. We've had 9 conversations, and we've had 600 people present at those across the board, which has amazed us, to be honest. We thought if we were lucky, we'd get between 350 and 400 across the board, but to get 600 is like massive. And there were 2 key things really for that. One is obviously the changes that we're implementing anyway in terms of moving to family catechesis and the reordering of the sacraments of initiation. So it was, a 2-parter. It was kind of partners in a shared task conversation first with the feedback sheets, and then the second part of the morning was about our own vision for family catechesis and the reordering of the sacraments. So people came because they wanted to talk about that. But the other one that seems to be key is that they'd never been invited to anything like this before, to meet with people from parish in that role and people from schools in their role and them as parents and grandparents. So there was a real sense of, can we have more opportunities like this to have conversations?
Veronica, can you say just a little bit more about what happened at the meetings?
Yes. The programme was... do you mean in terms of what we did?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The programme was really in 2 clear parts. The first part was some introduction and background to where passing on the faith had come from. And then 40-minute conversations in their role groups, so parents and grandparents together, parish catechists and clergy together, and then anyone connected with school. We had teaching assistants, we had governors, we had RE coordinators, and we had head teachers in there. And they met together for 40 minutes, which wasn't long enough. They really needed at least 50. I'm not sure you could go for an hour, but 50 minutes would have been better. And they were facilitated, and they had a listener present in every group who actually completed the feedback sheet, the one that was produced specifically for this. And then the listeners fed back a couple of highlights from the conversation, but all the feedback has been typed up. Now, there's an awful lot of material there, and one of the issues is kind of how useful is that really, because there are a lot of similarities and differences. But even to have that, I think, is important. And then we showed our DVD with you always, which is the vision for reordering sacraments and family catechesis. And they then broke into area groups. So they were with the teachers, parents and grandparents were with the teachers and parish personnel in a mixed group to look at what are the opportunities offered through this change, what challenges, and what need to be their next steps. So they had experience in their separate role groups, but in mixed role groups as well through the morning.
Do you think that the momentum you've achieved is a spin-off of the reordering of the sacraments? Or do you think you've tapped a hunger that has hitherto not properly been exploited?
Both. I think undoubtedly the reordering of the sacraments and the move to family catechesis has, brought some people along who otherwise may not have responded. But it wasn't just that. I think we would have had a good response because there is real concern out there amongst all parties, but they've never been invited to look at it in a partnership way before. And even the very title, I think, was really significant. Partners in a shared task. And there was that sense of, for the parents and grandparents particularly, the very fact that they had been invited to be part of the conversation, and that's what it was called, raised their status in this, I think.
And that's the same that we found in Middlesbrough. I know we've only had one meeting, but it was exactly the same. The parents were absolutely delighted to have been asked and to have their voices heard and be part of this conversation. They hadn't had that experience before. So, and that's nothing to do with reordering the sacraments. That is simply just the whole question of passing on the faith.